Giants will just about edge out alternate attacks on Inferno. The Giants map pick goes their way after what seemed like a comeback was going to be successful from the German team. They didn't make it work though, Dweg. And honestly, I have to say that with the exception of those 6 rounds on the comeback, it wasn't exactly a very good performance from the alternate attacks camp.
I would even put it as heavily disappointing, Jay. I thought that towards the end there, we saw some really good CS from alternate attacks, and unfortunately, we just didn't see that in the early and sort of mid-game of that entire map. So look, going into Dust 2, I'm hoping that they sort of get their things together, because we have seen that they can be a very strong team. And look, even for the Giants, right, I mean, they struggled to close that out. I think they had multiple chances. We saw post plants where they had 5-on-3s and 4-on-3 advantages and weren't closing out. So certainly on Dust 2, they need to be working on that and closing out the advantages they find.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main thing for me and my main concern in this matter is going to be alternate attacks on the T side, because on Dust 2, in theory, it should be the T side where you get the most off on it. But you saw how poor that T side was on the defaults over on Inferno. Now, how much that will translate over the Dust 2 is yet to be seen. Obviously, they're very different maps in that respect. The pistol round will see them start off on CT instead. Giants, the utility on an OPJ and OBJ. Default pistols in for the most part. P250 was brought down by OBJ, however, and it's the USPs with the fuse kit and double flash in for Skrunk. Meerbit takes that mid face out to try and shut down the setup for the T side line, but they're all stacked up towards the long control, so it's all going to be up to the A execution. Smoke's coming up immediately. He's going to cross out, get that bomb plant in, set up the retake against the CT side. Force the short players away, no casualties sustained.
Retake setup coming out for the alternate attack side. Now, they do have a couple of flashbangs and a kit to work with, and a lot of players coming out from CT spawn. Look at how many Glocks are looking to try and take the fight towards CT, however.
Just tapped them in the Glock. Slacks takes the kill in. Cressy gets the second frag as well. P250 tapping away from OBJ. Gets the kill alongside PR. 2 players coming out for the map position do eventually overwhelm the players on the site itself. And the defuse will be coming in from alternate attacks to get themselves the pistol on their CT board.
I'll tell you what, some really nice trades coming back and forward. We saw Giants struggling around that car position on the initial contact towards CT. On the site, there was a little bit more success coming out from OBJ and PR, but just overwhelmed in the numbers game. Slacks is able to get 3 kills. And now for the Giants, look, they get a bomb plant. They can go for the hero AK. They can go for the Galil kind of round. It looks like they want to chuck an AK over to NoBJ. It seemed like it was being thrown around a little bit there, but a complete full buy, or force buy, I should say, coming out for the Giants going into round 2. They've got an AWP out for Slacks. What? In round 2?
How did he get that much money? That's impressive. Don't know how many kills he got. I wasn't keeping track of them over the course of the pistol round, but that's pretty big already. The M4 of Crest is going to get forced down as the SMG of Meerbit catches them off guard. Going to turn their attention back towards the long control. We'll get that trade back. Still know that M4's back over the wall's position. So 2 for 1's out. That AWP will fire away. And just like that, Giants are like, yeah, we don't want anything to do with the AWP. So we'll back off and try to play the default from elsewhere.
Tell you what, though, they've actually done pretty well so far, Jay. You've got Skrunk down pretty low. They've got a man advantage up for the T side, and free range of this mid control. Slacks is the only defender towards this A bomb side. Does spot out a player towards short, and he's aggressing. He's looking for more. Finally, he finds the trade back.
I'll take a sniper duel on towards Fox as well, but not able to see that player making his way out, so Fox just backs up instead. They go towards the mid to B push. You've got Stefan here with the SMG. Burst through. Slacks does get taken down. Stefan come up with a good frag back of his own right, and the trades continue. It's all left to Skrunk now on towards the B side. And I think they're reading this well. They should see contact from him. He bursts through, trying to catch off the likes of OBJ. If he takes him down, he forces the bomb plant out of their position. But facing against Nope is going to get that kill on the Giants' side. So first round to the board of the T's. Force buy works wonderfully for them.
Yeah, and sometimes you think that maybe that was a bit too much of a big investment. Slacks getting 3 kills on the pistol, was able to buy down into an AWP, which is something you don't see very often, especially this early into the game. And for Giants, they were able to get 4-on-3 advantage. I really love, too, that they just didn't commit to the mid to B. They had a bit of a read there that Skrunk was the B anchor, so they just try and fall back. They keep eyes on the position and win the anti-eco conversion. Alternate attacks have to be on a force by themselves, but certainly for the Giants, Jay, you've got to think they win this. They sort of go, what, 2-1 up, then the eco 3-1 up. They get themselves off to a good start after winning the first map in the series.
Flashes over as Stefan falls back. Scrunk gonna take a very aggressive face. See Fox will just get taken out immediately. Not too bad. Stefan! Stefan! 3 massive Deagle shots, but the bomb plant can be secured. They overwhelm the B site. A 3-on-2, however, for alternate attacks. They have a chance at this.
Oh, Stefan's given them all the chances in the world, Jay. You've got a player of Slacks coming in from the upper tunnels, even going to be grouped up by Cressy too. There's a little bit of util here for Merbit to try and pull some distractions away. HG could potentially go out to this car position and try and do some damage. Oh, now it's just PR. He's the last one left. AK in play. He's got 3 players that are all trying to swing at the same time. That's the first. And the second is now down into 1 versus 1. But look how low he is, Jay. 5 HP. Slacks hits the shot. But does he have time? This is close. He doesn't have a kit. No, he doesn't. He's out of there. Oh, you've got to feel bad for Stefan. He did so much work on the side, Jay. He was able to get 3 kills. And you thought a 3-on-2 retake, that was going to be doable. They get all the kills, but without the kit, it's just not possible.
Unbelievable stuff from Stefan, though. Like, he's going to be kicking himself, or he's going to be kicking his teammates off the back of that. Because if they acted a little bit quicker, they probably would have gotten themselves on that bomb site. Huge plays from him, though. You can watch it again. That first wallbang shot was impressive. It was the 2 that followed this.
Damn.
Oh, my goodness. Stefan, unbelievably good there for the alternate attack side. That does damage towards the Giants once again. But it is an eco to follow up from the CT side.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. And, well, now for the Giants squad, this is an opportunity, maybe not so much to farm up money. I'm a little bit surprised, actually, that they didn't invest into any MAC-10s here, Jay. They've just decided to go for the AWP out for Fox and, well, Galil's and an AK for the rest of them.
Oh, now Slacks is the Eagle starting to step up to the plate here. Riz will catch Stefan back in the back lines. Not expecting the USP to be back with Gandalf. But Slacks drops the bomb with his secondary frag. And Riz can't get a hold of it, it seems. Rotations inbound. They see where Skrunk's at. Mere bit close range dealt with. So the Galil gets into a 3 versus 3. Skrunk tapping, doing damage. Slacks is eventually going to get taken out. So it's worth the Cressy in a 1-on-3 scenario of his own right. And there were solo HP players there for the Giants side, but unable to get the frags as appropriate for the alternate attacks camp. 3-1 at the start, rifles can come in.
Alrighty, well, I'll tell you what, Slacks did a pretty good job of at least trying to hold that A defense for as long as possible, but getting overwhelmed in the end. A really great play there coming out from Riz. And, well, now 3-1 up, it's 3 rounds in a row. We're seeing an AWP investment coming out from alternate attacks on the likes of Slacks. This is actually really aggressive to get this short control really, really quick. Finally, they spot out to a mid player, but look at the early map control they've found.
Flashes in, M4 out. No! PR caught with a knife in his hand. Not expecting the CTs to be so close. Dealt with. The opening kill goes the way of the attacks side. Giants being forced in upon either the mid control. Now they're coming out towards the mid doors. Are they known? Yes, they are. But Riz going to take base with that bomb. If he goes down, that could be disastrous. Still an M4 out here. Gets that one. And that two. Stefan again making the big moves. It's OBJ left alone now towards the B site as Fox falls to Slacks. And the bomb's in CT control. They can wrap up the backstab. They can set up to the mid control.
Yeah, look, really good confidence there from alternate attacks to just push mid like that and actually find Stefan a couple of kills. OBJ is now giving themselves a bit of a chance at this. He needs to deal with the AWP, and Slacks is even going to find a headshot on that. Second round going the way of the German side. And I'll tell you what, we saw a very similar play from PR out on Inferno. Do you remember when he was just rushing up Banana with that MAC-10 and just opened up the B bomb side? It was sort of similar there towards that short commitment, but for some reason he just gets his knife out at the worst time possible. And as soon as the swing comes through, there's just nothing he can do. He's standing in the open.
Eco coming in for the C side. No choice in the matter. The damage being done on that Deagle round from alternate attacks is going to come back to hurt them here on the Giants side. Glot's coming in, damage being done, and Cressy. Well, Riz will get one good frag on PR, so that's something. No, excuse me, that's a TK, isn't it? Oh, I'm really an idiot. One big 4 situation. And that's unfortunate here for the T side line, but yeah, OBJ can't do much. So 3-all, alternate attacks cleaning up the eco pretty effectively. The rifles can come back from Giants, but that TK on Riz's part is going to limit his money state a little bit.
And for alternate attacks, I think certainly one of the biggest things that they might try and be focusing on Dust 2 is just getting off to a good start. We saw out on Inferno, they were pretty much always on the back foot, right? We never really saw an early contest from them in the sense of a lead. And Giants going out for what looked like it was going to be an early contact towards the longhouse, but they're all grouping up to take mid. And I tell you what, if Cressy gets aggressive here, he's going to start to hear some of these footsteps. This is quite a quick play into the short control.
All debate from Scrunk. Flashes at the ready and smoke goes down.
Hello, Nade.
Landing perfect. Ooh. That is going to do a ton of damage to Giants. When this hit comes through, it's going to be relatively weakened.
I'd love to see another one. I don't know if they've got another HE. The only one's Cressy, and he's playing out towards long, so it doesn't seem like another HE can come through. But they can at least try and stall time. We're seeing some really great incendiary placement here from aTTaX to just try and slow down this push from the Giants. And it's got to come down to the entries from the T side. Another incendiary goes down.
And with the HP numbers of the T side, it wouldn't be worth them on their way through. They're still going to make their way up. They are dropped by Slacks. Bomb plant can be secured here. They're going to jump face with the SMG, do the damage, eventually deny it, and the rifles will get cleaned up by the CT forces. 1-on-4 by OPJ. And you want to catch me a bit at least in the midst of the smoke, seeing him cross out, but the nades on his position, still 3 more 1v1s to isolate. And I don't think the CTs will give it up to him. They know that that bomb's out in the open. They know he doesn't have possession of it. So they'll just put the standard flashes over, face in, awkward spray, Cressy can win it out.
And I'll tell you what, I think we're really starting to see Slacks come alive. We saw him get only 17 kills in that first map of, 29 rounds? We're 7 in, and he's already got 10. So already he's looking a lot more confident. He's hitting some great shots with the AWP, and that's what we want to see a player like from Slacks. That was really something that I thought was missing coming out on Inferno, was some of the AWPs. We saw some really awkward engagements coming out from both Slacks and Stefan when they were running double AWPs on the CT side. So good to see a bit of a return coming out for the aTTaX side, and even taking a tactical pause after winning out their 4th round. And well, I mean, you're not even going to see a buy here from Giants. It's going to be a relatively light eco, 2,900 loss bonus. They can buy down to about 2,000, get some Deagles, some Tech 9s out and what have you, but it's going to be a pretty light investment for the most part.
And the second tactical pause called in this series overall.
Not a lot.
First one of this map, obviously, for the Giants side. And, of course, both tacticals called by Giants as well. So, you know, alternate attacks are definitely forcing them to make take more time to think about their actions. How they're going to continue the plays up here. It's going to be the eco round coming in, a deco round, actually, from the T side. Not a lot of Kevlar. But Deagle's in, that could do some damage. Nades up from mid. It's going to miss out on the majority of the T-side forces as they rush their way in from short position. But they go towards the A side. Slacks and mid, bit will clean house, though. And OBJ and Fox, last 2 players there. Fox will get 1 good frag, and actually the Deagle's able to chime in some damage, but 3v1 OBJ. Trying to get a bomb plant in. If you can get Slacks to fall, that would be massive amount of damage done to aTTaX. The pistol's facing up, going to try and stall for time. Eventually Slacks will get that kill. 4 kills to his name overall. They do lose the AKs, though, on the CT side.
Yeah, so that is actually a pretty good outcome coming out from the Giants. They can't deal with the double AWP setup, which maybe would have been a little bit more important, but at least getting those AKs out of play helps going forward, going into the next rifle. And for the Giants, maybe something a little bit quicker, Jay. We've seen how quick they've been able to establish some of this short control, but it seems like every time they go quick, they start to slow it down. A little bit of HP actually going both ways. Riz getting legged down to 18 points of health, but Stefan with that other AWP, he's the first to fall.
Yeah, PR winning the fight. Coming up good here for the T side. Look at Cressy. Oh, look at Cressy. Is he going to get checked? You'll see the shadow take out Riz immediately. Gets spammed, double ding down. Eventually, PR gets his secondary kills. So that push forward does not work out for the CT side. Giants knowing how to counteract that play, and they'll do that pretty effectively. 5-on-3 situation. Giants looking real good at this stage. They will make their way out towards the longhouse, it seems. The AWP of Slacks is the only thing to defend against it.
And I'll tell you what, I think Cressy probably could have done a bit better there, Jay, by just sort of staying around. Slacks is playing a little bit of an off angle, finally getting back to a bit more of a cover, getting towards a corner. Flash goes up, he can get back towards Car, still trying to stay around, actually, and try and take these fights onto the Giants players. But even with this long control, are Giants going to commit to this A play? Look how far the bomb is back. Looking out towards mid from Fox, yeah, they're just falling back. They've established this early control, but they want to lean over towards B instead by the looks of things.
Strong's going to be the only defender against it here. He's back towards Platt. He may shut down the bomb planter if he goes towards the tunnels area. And the CTs are going to get no information about this. They're so far away from the CT crosser, but the smoke's down. And realize that, yes, it's going to be a mid to B play. And Skrunk suddenly feeling very lonely here. A lot of work to do. Scope into the AWP, lands the leg shot on one player. Overwhelmed by them both. The flick back on OBJ, unable to connect the frag. And from here, Slacks and Mirbit are going to save their weapons. No sense in throwing them away, as Giants will get the 4 on T side.
Yeah, look, tough ask, in all honesty, from Skrunk. You can't really expect him to do too much in a position where he's really, in a 1-on-4. You've got so many players coming to that B bomb site, 3 out for the mid to B split, and then the bomb slowly coming through. Yeah, there may have been a chance if Fox actually committed with that bomb before the mid player swung out, but, why would he do that? A potential of dropping that bomb. At least if the mid players swing first, it allows them to clear out the site before that bomb gets planted. And alternate attacks sort of struggled there. And yeah, looking back at Cressy, I think he knows better than just trying to fall back. As soon as you get an opening kill like that, aggressing in Longhouse, you really have to stay there because you don't often get an opportunity to fall back. You're just going to get spammed or wide swung upon. And that's exactly what happens. He finds that initial engagement. He tries to fall back. And as soon as he does, there's just 2 players spamming and wide swinging. And there's just no opportunity.
I mean, the problem is that they're probably going to spam that wallbang anyway, so, it's kind of a lose-lose situation for Cressy in that one. Maybe if he pushed up towards the corner, then maybe he could have tried and avoided most of the damage. But in the end, it's still going to end up being a very awkward push. The Giants were going to counteract, I feel like, anyway. 5-4 now for the T side. Lion, the rebuy, does come in from the CT forces. Much more mid-defined default from the Giants side. Alternate attacks going as passive as ever. So all those contact positions set towards the long and short positions, in particular for Slacks on his AWP. Ready to receive them coming into the A play.
Alternate attacks only running that single AWP now. I think Stefan had a pretty tough time in that last round, so maybe just thinking it's probably better off if we just run a single AWP, maybe unless our economy is getting to a point where it's really starting to build up. Very, very slow default from Giants, but they have actually gained a fair bit of map control. Nothing out towards the longhouse. They've got a plan towards the upper tunnels. They've already got deep control out towards mid. They could just get a smoke down towards CT and get this mid to B split going.
Smokes on, Molly's back, 2 players on the B site, again isolating the majority of players away from A. And damage has been done to PR. Eventually Mib actually gets that kill through the smoke, but the edge of it, I do believe. Skrunk back towards the back corner, gets the kill back. Riz will get the trades going, and Stefan unable to hold onto the car position. Fox takes him down. 3-on-3 seen now towards tunnels. Cressy also known. The Molotovs will stall for extra time. That nade on Fox should do some decent damage. Actually misses him entirely. That's going to cost them dearly in this one. Flash is coming through from the CT side. They're going to make their way in relatively soon. They're running out of chances to go for the retake. And here they come. Flashes and smokes. Fox turning away from the tunnels. Mirbit will get Riz. Fox turned on. Mirbit gets a double up. And now it's no BJ dealt with by Cressy. Mirbit with 3 frags on that retake. Well placed to alternate attacks.
Look, much better. Much better on the retake. I like that they didn't just wide swing the AWP 2 from Fox. The jiggle peaks were coming out, and even just waiting for the mid players to have a little bit more of a distraction away. We saw in the end that when the upper tunnels player ended up swinging, Fox's attention was pulled out towards the window and door area, so they're able to find that advantage onto him and pick up that AWP for free, so they don't even need to invest into double AWPs going into round 11. The Giants, I'll tell you what, Jay, they got off to a pretty good start, right? They lost pistol, won the anti-eco conversion, got 3 in a row. But when you think about the majority of the gun rounds, it seems to be alternate attacks on form.
Two rounds of the difference here. The lead for alternate attack starts to grow. But Giants are going to put the hurt back on here with their own reinvestment. The rifles out for the T's as much as it is for the CT forces. There are a couple of caveats to play for here, with Khalil and OBJ in particular. And the double ults for alternate attacks. So over the first shot of Fox, going to take that fight in against Strong, unable to land the shot, unable to land the kill. But they're going to go fast in on the back of the AWP. They spray through. They could get Fox, they could get several frags in, but just the damage done to those 3 individuals.
And Slax has pushed up at a really aggressive angle. We haven't really seen this being played before. Flash comes out, he ducks below it, and he's got a chance to just get back towards short. Doesn't need to face any further. There is a 1-for-1 trade, and even this HG could do more. No, again, it seems like there are multiple times now that when HGs are being thrown, it seems like it just evades the Giants' side.
Even standing. Flashes in, Orbital peek up, they heard it, but they do bait it out to miss its shot. Slack's taking some damage. Incendiary is ready for Mirbeer, puts 1 down, I do believe. Smoke back up from the T-side line for the Molotovs, and Fox catches that small gap at the end of the smoke to catch that kill. Slack's trying to respond to OBJ, but only doing so well with it. Stefan left here towards the CT cross, with Scrunk making his way into the short position, trying to get up to angle and get towards this A retake angle. It looks like alternate attacks definitely want to go for the A retake, but they think better of it and second guessing themselves, going back to save these weapons, because Giants again are going to be able to find a good execute.
Yeah, look, things looking very, very strong in that last round for the Giants. Some really good trades come out. I think they were able to overwhelm Slacks pretty nicely for him to not find too much. He gets away with a couple of kills. Good baits to just get the AWPer to force off angle multiple times. And when I think of Fox as a player too, the in-game leader at AWPer for this side, it is great to see that you've got some of the veteran players sort of going back to their own scene, right? I mean, you think about recently, you've got Jacob going back over to the aTTaX side. I know that Fox has been on Giants for a while, but he was a time where he was playing with like Kingwin that went over to G2, then FaZe. He was filling in with the SK guys for a little bit, went over to Dignitas as well, and now he's come back into the Portuguese scene and been here for a couple of years. So it's always nice to sort of see those veteran players bringing up some younger talent, Jay.
Bringing up some results right here. Alternate attacks now. Tactical pause being called for them. They're first in this map up and this series. I always think about things because they've had many opportunities to try and grow this lead to a really one-sided deficit, but they've just opted against it every single time, or Giants have been able to counter them every single time. So this moment's respite to figure things out, it could be valuable to the German side, because the CT side has been going particularly well. Again, talking about the T side half for alternate attacks is where they mostly shine on Dust 2. So unless they choke it like they did over on Inferno, you're expecting the second half to go well for them. And if they can dominate and get a half victory right here, this could be map 3 already being guaranteed.
Yeah, look, it's all about the momentum. It's all about whether Giants can continue this presence up on the T side. At least, look, a bit of damage going on to Stefan. It wasn't a massive amount on that tag, but look at how aggressive Slacks is getting. He could get caught off here, but no, Cressy backs him up. That's a really big kill. And now that drops the bomb. What is NoBJ doing? Pushing through a smoke like that without any more teammates. And the bomb is in complete control now of the CT side.
And a lot of them wanted to go full send out of the long position and try and take this, but those 2 kills, the damage being done by the Molotov in particular, is really what set themselves up for those frags. The smoke landed a bit too fast, so the back line of the Molly, I believe, did not get extinguished. They burned so low before they got taken out. And the CT is just going to stack all their forces in towards the long position. They were going for what seemed to be a mid-to-B walk there from the Giants. They realize that they can't do anything with it unless they have the bomb. So a flank out from CT Spawn looks to come through. They've got a player watching that. That's the AWPer Slacks, ready to receive as the short control dominated by Mirbeer. He can also swing in when they do look for the crossfire. But from here, it looks like Giants are going to hold back in both spawns and save their weapons. I don't think they fancy their chances here.
I mean, you can't really do anything, can you? I mean, potential for maybe a run boost, but you've got to expect that if you walk out from CT, you're going to be seen by someone out from pit. Someone's going to be holding that angle, and that's where Slacks has been with the AWP. So just holding onto the rifle is probably your best bet. 2 AKs and an AWP. But I tell you what, like alternate attacks, they were really out of position. Slacks went for a really aggressive peek, and then I think when they saw the util coming out over the top, he decided, okay, let's just try and fall back because I think they're taking it. Cressy finds a really important kill to make sure that Slacks isn't being taken down off the initial engagement, and then Slacks is able to turn that into a 5-on-3 as well. And as soon as that bomb gets dropped, the round's just done. 7th round up for the alternate attack side, and well for Giants, no more.
That spray is a little bit of BM right there. That's the choking spray. If anyone didn't catch it.
Is that for the alternate attack side, or is that for Giants? Who's he telling is a choker?
Well, that's the thing, right? I wouldn't even say the Giants are choking because like they haven't been able to get some good response rounds in. Alternate attacks have struggled to maintain this 2-round lead. So, you know, I mean, in that round isolated, maybe you could give that bit of a time of day, but. AK's out for this one. This is proving why Giants in the grand scale of things aren't choking, because PR isolates 2 fantastic 1v1s, wins out the fight, gains the long control, and now the short players can start to add. The bomb gets dropped by Slacks. 2 good AWP shots of his own right to a 3-on-3. Fox is low, PR's low. Okay, that was Stefan that stole that frag, but Slacks still finds his 3K. Nay, close Molotov keeps him in the corner. Scrunk comes up from the backstab and the back lines, and alternate attacks will defend the A site.
I swear, Jay, we get baited on every broadcast. Like, it must happen at least once a best of 3. Then it looks like someone's hit a ridiculous kill, and then you look at the kill feed, and you kind of get let down a little bit. What a start this was coming out for PR, but they couldn't deal with Slacks on the site, Jay. He's able to get a great couple of kills. Finally, the molly comes through, and you've just got to think for the Giants, they had so many advantages after that initial long contact, and it still wasn't enough.
Well, Slacks looking real good right now for the CT side, and AWP shining bright in that last round. Brilliant stuff by him. And that wins alternate attacks to half. Around 14, they've got Hero AKs out for Fox already, looking to try and enter on towards the A play once again. He's got that first frag. Mirbit will trade him though, so the rifle goes falling out of favor for the T side line. As OBJ falls next in towards tunnels, PR's going to pick back up the mantle of the rifle and try and work further into the A-site play. Cressy standing alone, may have to fall back towards long, call his teammates in because the bomb plant is coming through from Giants on a half-by round as well.
Yeah, this can actually be converted. There's a really decent chance that Giants can win this. They're planted out from the short position, and rather than getting anyone in towards Goose or trying to take some fights towards CT or Long, they're just playing passive. They've all just got over to the short position instead.
Incendiary is up, flashes over Deagle on for Riz. That's a kill, and PR comes up good on Scrunk. Stefan left alone with the AWP. Needs to shine like Slacks did, but unable to get his shots. PR will overwhelm, and that, well, is a nice return to go into the last round of the half. Giants could still make this at 8-7.
Yeah, I tell you what, to think of the investment they had in that last round of what, a single AK and just Deagles, they can be well chuffed at that. Great 6th round from them, really good post plant, great Deagle shot coming out from Rez. And even for alternate attacks, look at their buy they're bringing into round 15. Yeah, you've got that fantastic AWP up for Slacks, but you've only got an M4, a FAMA, and a couple of pistols to back it up. Giants could be on for another really close scoreline at the end of the half, Jay.
Force out from the CTs. We'll see them coming in with some decent weaponry, but not amazing weaponry. The flashes, the Molotovs in. Scrunk takes that Deagle and takes that first frag, so that's a start, but trades are very quick from the Giant side. They're not going to let these pistols get the better of them.
Good 1-for-1 trade. Mirbit down pretty low. And for Giants, it's all about just slowing this down. But Slacks, where does the AWP kill come from? Out from mid, and now that sort of forces OBJ to make a bit of a play here towards B. And it's Stefan with a super aggressive angle with the Deagle. He's been seen. He could try and go in for a bit of a swing, but instead, he goes for a little bit more of a passive play, and it means that OBJ can't get that side control.
3-on-3 situation. The M4 going to hold that long position. The FAMAS holding mid. No one's watching short of the A site, though, so it's very, very open for Giants to walk straight in. Information given up to Mirbit, though. He's going to hear that call his teammate to rotate the Molotov on towards the A site. Will confirm that it's definitely going to be an A play. Alternate attacks don't have a kit for this retake. They don't have any utility either, but they're all going to stack up towards the short position and looking to go in from short. No, one player does breakaway, go back towards the long position. They're very scatterbrained about this retake here.
They really need to be making sure that they're trading 1-for-1. Is there going to be a run boost over the top of this smoke? Potential between Stefan or Merbert, or just try and slow walk in? That's where OBJ is. Potential to line them up. The spray continues. He does big damage, and now it's all down to Cressy in the 1 versus 2. They know exactly where he is. He's been seen towards a car angle, and they just need to waste time on this T side. The bomb's already planted for the short angle, and Cressy can't even deal with Riz on the site. Giants bring back a 7th round on the T side. I tell you what, Jay, that's actually pretty impressive. Yeah, you can make the point that alternate attacks are going into their stronger half into the second on their T side, but to get 7 rounds on your opposition's map pick, it's pretty decent, especially when you make the counterpoint that you've got Slacks at 21-5 and they've still made it close.
Numbers for a moment here before we get into the second half. 21 kills for Slacks at the moment.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Very good for me because I predicted him as being the alternate attacks player to, have got the most number of kills in this series. I'd imagine with how far and away he is from everybody else right now in the series, I'd imagine he's currently taking that crown. Remember that you can get 25 euros in bonuses at midnight.com when you bet on the player with the most kills.
Maybe him.
I mean, again, I would imagine it probably would be him at this stage, given how unreal he's been playing in this map. If he gets a really good T side, then I can imagine he would take the lead in that particular regard.
I mean, there's even a chance if he has a big performance in the second half that he's just already like the leader going into the third map if we go to it.
Exactly.
You've got to think for alternate attacks, if they can continue Slacks, maybe not to have the same performance, but at least being as consistent will really help out their T side. Double boost actually coming out to the short play. I tell you what, look at this read though. There's only one at B on the CT side.
Flash is over. No PJ falls back out towards this entryway on the CT pistol. Giants forced out of the B bomb site was a passive hold regardless. The bomb plant's going to be secured and the retake is on here. Alternate attacks. Taps up coming through, unable to secure positions set in here. Slacks and Cressy pushing forward. It's going to be 2-for-2 trades as the T's actually forced their way on towards the main CT contact. Now they're the ones forced out of the bomb site. Riz going to try and make his way up towards the site, do some damage towards Cressy and Stefan as well. Fox also aggressing in from the B doors. Stefan swings, gets that kill. Cressy catches Fox as well. And alternate attacks with a very, very good pistol to get things started on T side.
A little bit unique in the way that they played it too. I mean, a lot of the time, and certainly in pistol rounds and Dust 2, if you're going for like a B-site XE or a mid to B or whatever it is, most of the time you're not in a 5v5 retake, but rather than just playing the post plant and having, I don't know, player towards back site, Xbox, car, all the just standard positions to hold, they actually try and take the fight. It's not immediate, but certainly getting, after the bomb's been down for a little bit of time, they decide to go out and take some fights onto the mid players, and that's where they really start to obliterate the retake. Force Spire coming out for the Giants, and already the Scout's been able to do damage onto Nobi J and Fox.
Nades on, damage done to the CTs in varying amounts. Some mass damage, some minimal damage. Scout of OBJ trying to catch them off guard with the SMG sprays as well, looking to focus fire. They bait in information on 2 players, so they know that the SMG is in play.
Gamble stack B, look at this, Jay.
Yeah, 4 players making their way up to the B site, and the default's still in for alternate attacks, so they can find this information out.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a risky play, but you've got to understand as well, for Giants, they've got 2 players around half HP, and even Riz has taken a fair bit of damage, so they haven't really found any opening exchanges, so go for something a little bit risky, go for a gamble stack of B, keep Fox towards A to try and defend the best that he can. I mean, if they go A, this round's pretty much all but finished, but if by chance end up going B, that's the best chance for the Giants.
It looks to be the A player with the short player stacking up the bombs over there with them as well. One player will lurk out towards the mid control to get ready up for the rotations in the mid control. And so long as they overwhelm Fox, they gain themselves the round here. 3 smokes out onto position here on the CT cross. And here they come. The flash is over. One of which does not get landing onto Fox. The third one does connect in the end. So short plant, easy as that. And Giants are not even going to bother with this retake. It doesn't seem like Fox might look for the exit frags, but they are very passive about this. Maybe it may have to force the issue to get the kills.
Another 5v5 post plant. You just don't see this very often. But yeah, look, for Giants, they think, okay, well, we'll stack up B. If they go A, we'll just save. If they go B, we've got a decent chance. So Merbit's here to maybe try and pick up the pieces a little bit, see if he can find any kind of exit kills, build themselves up a little bit of money. Getting tagged by that scout probably means that you won't aggress any further because it's not really worth it. But at least doing damage onto one player and taking a player out.
Another kill for Skrunk in this one, so SMG's doing damage. Don't think he wants to go for the scout in this one. Oh, he does want to go for the scout. Get rid of it, in fact. Make sure that the CTs can't gain it in case he goes down, but he won't, so it's just an insurance policy thing, more of a backup plan. And now 10-7, double digits gained by the German side. Giants going to go eco on the players that went down, but saving their weapons in, so they have a decent basis to work with. So this will be a bonus round for them.
Mac-10s, let's see if they can mop up. Nade's going into Longhouse. Skrunk just gets out of there. That's the last thing he wants for him to go down. And this could just be a play to go, right, we'll just lean over towards B. We know that there was so many players out to Longhouse. But even with that early information, Alternate aTTaX haven't really done anything about it, Jay. They're still running their default.
The Eagle set for PR, looking to catch Stefan. Stefan with that kill in. Two good pistol shots back from PR and OBJ, though. So that's a couple of automatics gain here against Alternate aTTaX. That mid stack in from the CT Forces has managed to get away with a 4-on-3 and some bonus weapons to boot.
Oh, they've got an AK too, Jay. This could do so much work, especially if they force Alternate aTTaX into the A bomb site. That's where they're committing, Jay.
Oh, Mac-10 in for OBJ, getting himself a frag back on mid, bit damage done to Slacks as well. And Alternate aTTaX getting crumbling apart now. Rotations up from the AK of PR as well. They are so ready for this position. Cressy does swing out, getting OPJ at least, siphon off that one individual. But look at the HP numbers for them. The Mac-10 of OBJ is easily getting that frag. PR better be ready to receive this one pretty effectively. Indeed he is. Scout shot not lining up, and Giants get away with an eco win there on CT.
You know what, Jay? I've certainly found, like, the last few months, you know, I'm getting pretty stressed, getting pretty irritated, getting pretty annoyed with some of these rounds. Like, that's just not on. Like, seriously, that just... How is that happening, that Giants convert a round where they have such a minimal investment? And the information was there, too, from Alternate aTTaX in the early round, that they brought 3-4 players to the Longhouse, rather than just committing to something quick and going over towards that B bomb site. They run their default, and AK gets picked up, and it just all falls apart. That's a shocking round from Alternate aTTaX. And now they're finding a bit of a response in by going quick into mid to B, but it's the enemy P from Fox that finds the opener.
Cressy can respond towards PR though, and OPJ going to get converged in upon the mid to be split and the tunnel's entryways. Sees two players, comes up with 2 and 3! And the USP out against Mir, it should get taken out, but he's in a 1-on-4 situation. 3 more CTs to find. They're so different on their positional plays. This should be mopped up by the Giants side. They had the perfect convergence in the B sites, but just giving those frags away, and Riz will close out the last. Disaster for the attack side.
Oh, that is a disaster. They swing out before the CT smoke goes down. Fox is able to get a pick, but this play from NoBJ, really sick. What I love from him is rather than his attention continuously being pulled towards that window area, as soon as he finds that first kill, he looks straight back to the upper tunnels, expecting the mid to B split coming out. He gets a second and a third kill with the AWP, not finding the response. And now a 9th round up. Jay, we're going to go to a tied scoreline. I tell you what, Giants have got the opportunity to upset here.
On CT side of Dust 2, by the way. Again,
Yeah.
Alternate aTTaX so well favored on T side. And this was the main concern that I had going into this map up was, are we going to see replicable sort of issues on their T side of Dust 2 that we saw on Inferno? And we are seeing those issues come to the fold now. Yes, they are looking particularly, you know, they're looking like they're in the lead right now, but that all may be about to change. Run boosts coming in for Cressy and Slacks. Flashes for Fox to try to block them off. AWP can't land the flick on towards the first man. Does see a second tag. Cressy, they get a bomb plant out of this eco, so that'll at least be something gained. Bonus money going into the next pie up, and Fox and OBJ and Riz will start cleaning house. Lax with one good frag. 2 kills to his name, actually. He's trying to make it 3, and not quite going to do the damage on towards them, so they can grab their primary weapons, they can get the defuse.
Tell you what, decent round. When you consider what the investment they had out, they were able to run boost a player out to try and bait out the AWP, which they did a pretty good job of. Fox goes down, OBJ goes down. They recover that AWP, of course, on the CT side. But 2 kills in a bomb plan for alternate attacks. I think they can be pretty pleased about that. 10-10. For alternate attacks, where's the change up? Do they want to just go quickly out towards Longhouse? They've got some pretty good spawns out towards the B side. We haven't really seen Slacks finding too much. He was, what, 21 and 5 going into the second half, so he's only been able to get 2 kills going forward. 2 smokes out towards the mid-cross. Well, that's a little bit of a waste.
Means they're only going to have like 3 smokes, I should say, for the actual post plant or the defensive itself. And look at the fast, aggressive plays into the short control. AWP and Fox gets that frag. Nice and easy to drop Sprunk. Not ready for the aggression towards short. A headshot angle seen. Stefan couldn't get the kill. Riz now given a chance to fall back away. Cressy out the cubby corner towards the mid position. Does find that first frag. Swing on OBJ. Doesn't get a frag on a second, though. And that allows a trade to come through for the Giants.
Oh, look, OBJ could have been caught off there, but he actually turns that into a positive. Swings back in as the flash is just about to unblind him. And he finds that really important kill. Gets that 4 and 3. And I tell you what, alternate attacks are looking to retake this long position. There were 2 players here. Fox is actually rotating back to site, though.
One player on long, AWP, watching short for the time being, but is ready to receive these if they come out from the long position. He can turn around for it. 2 heads seen by Riz, so the majority of T-side forces now know they're going to bait in a rotation, pull it in from the CT side. And time is ticking very low here for alternate attacks to act. Fox with his shots on to the longhouse position, but they're unable to get much of anything in terms of the kill count. It's Riz with that spray coming up good. Traded back by Stefan, but now times of the essence, and Fox is looking for even more frags. He will not see the player at the end of the smoke. Will keep his head ducked down, though. If he refaces, but he'll be up for a kill in 10 seconds. He's got to go down. They want to get this bomb plant in. Molotov's up, and Fox going to hold it off. They're going to save alternate attacks. Back to the slow defaults that cost him too much time.
And that was even a pre-fire coming out from Riz. I think he heard the footsteps coming towards him. He just starts spraying and is able to connect onto that headshot. And Slacks was in pit. They were waiting for the wide swing to come out from Fox on the site, and it just didn't happen. He played really, really passive. He was waiting for the bomb to actually cross out to the site, and it gets to a point where the time's just too low. They go, you know what? It's probably just better off saving. A lead now up for the Vodafone Giants. This is impressive, Jay.
And this could be the end of alternate attacks unless they can turn this around. Again, this is their map pick. They're already down by 1. And they had a comeback over on Inferno, but this time it's Giants the ones that were coming back here on Dust 2. And now they've taken a lead, something that alternate attacks were unable to do in map 1. This could end up being disaster for the T side, and for the German side, this would be another notch in the bedpost for them. It's all been for Fox watching downrange, ready to receive some sort of contact, but no presence shown by the T side.
Fox has been really, really passive on the CT side for the most part. Hasn't really taken too many aggressive duels. He's actually trying to work around this T-side smoke, and he's got a teammate to try and back him up. Misses that AWP shot, trying to get back to safety, but he's stuck in the open, Jay. At least he finds a response frag, but he only gets 1 and gets traded.
And Stefan gets a pick back of his own right. AUG bursts through, does damage towards 1, takes out another. Stefan on 7 HP to a 3v2 now. The Giants looking to go for this retake, it seems. OPJ and PR flash their way across. Look back to the back lines. Here they come, or no, they don't. They fall back and save their weapons, thinking better of that retake.
Yeah.
And that will be an 11 for alternate attacks. Back to evens once again. Opportunities brought down by the German side. You can imagine with the resistance posted up by Giants, they might not let a defensive like that go awry.
And one thing we have seen across the series, Jay, is a lack of confidence on retakes from both teams. I'm not trying to single out either Giants or alternate attacks, but when you think of the likes, you know, when we see a K23 or an SG Pro, like when they're in 2v4s, they still try and go for the retake. We've seen both of these teams when they're in a man disadvantage or something isn't quite in their favor. We've seen so much saving when it comes to these retaking scenarios. It seems like for both teams that they're just better off being a little bit more safer than maybe taking a bit more of a risk, Jay.
On aTTaX in with another tactical pause. Would be their second of this game here. And again, they need to make some adjustments soon because they're running out of opportunities at this stage. A technical pause going to be followed up here by the alternate attack side. Okay. Something a bit more intrusive on their own part, but it is a moment to momentum break for Giants, if you will. Maybe 3 for 1 in duels against Fox here. I mean, here's the thing. It doesn't really feel like it from him. Like, he's only had a couple opportunities to take it, and it just feels like the alternate attacks, they're coming out worse for wear against Giants in terms of duels. Like, some of these stats do look good, but the fact that Giants are probably winning out in another department somewhere else, which is what's giving alternate attack such a hard time.
Yeah, like you can pull all the stats in the world, but Giants have now won 4 rounds in a row. Yeah, they lose that last one because they just opt to go for the save. But I think when you consider what we've seen from them in the second half after losing Pistol and the anti-eco conversion, they've looked really decent. One thing, I mean, it's a little bit off topic that I've been thinking about, Jay. Do you reckon the Giants and the alternate attacks had the same graphic designer in designing their logo? The shields look exactly the same.
I mean, they look like pretty generic shields, honestly. Like, I'm not really sure about some.
Could be the same person.
I'm not a big. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like, you know, like when I think of an esports logo, you kind of just think about
the shield and then logo on top.
Yeah, I don't really feel like it's like one of those things like it's like the hallmark of the same designer, but
just copy and paste.
Now, this is an interesting stat here. Slax has 3 triple kills this game to add to his total kills of 24 so far in this one. He has slowed down since the turn of the half, though, and I feel like that's part of the reason why alternate attacks have also slowed down themselves.
That's a really good point to mention. I think that Slax was playing with a lot of confidence. He was playing with a lot of freedom. And now on T side, it seems like he's a little bit more restricted. I think Fox has been doing a really great job, even though his stats don't maybe say how much impact he's having. He's only 12 and 16, but I think he's been finding some really impactful and important kills with that AWP that have actually won them the majority of that streak of rounds in a row. The only way for me the alternate attacks really start coming alive, Jay, is if Slax gets more involved like he did in the first half.
As AUG out for Mirbeer, going to try to get involved with his own right here. Unable to get that frag in on the early start out towards the long control. The Giants get away with a massive amount of damage done towards PR in this one. He actually rotates towards the CT spawn as a result and go towards the mid control where actually the majority of players could lean in. If they go for a mid to be split, he's going to be a goner here. And that option is on the table. Even if alternate attacks have only gone for it once so far in this half, they're going to nade a molly out the short position, so it does indicate that a short play is on the table.
A lot of utility being used by both teams, actually, to try and establish this bit of control. Looks like an A split on the cards for alternate attacks. Fox has got an opportunity to try and swing in. He's going to be really unscathed, though. No utility or support can come through. And instead, he just decides to back off. Riz with the AUG towards a pit position. This is going to be a tough angle for him to find 3 kills.
Shots down, there's Riz with 1 and 2. Strunk and Mirbeer to drop, and Fox and Riz will drop low the same, but the kills are going the way of the Giants. Alternate attacks unable to find the trades. The bomb's been dropped out in the open. 2 T-side players acting towards mid and short with incendiaries. Up, Stefan does catch PR, but burn and burn as Slax goes falling to Riz. He gets his triple kill, and the bomb is defended by the CT side.
I should just eat my own words. He got all 3 there. Like, that was ridiculous. What a hold coming out from Riz. And you thought that should have been a 1-for-1 trade at most for Riz. That's a really difficult angle to deal with that much pressure from the longhouse. And he's able to position himself in a way that he isolates both of those kills into 1v1s and then even follows up with a third one towards the end. And for alternate attacks, this is just going to be another save, Jay. Like, there was big damage done to PR, Fox, and Riz, but look at what our Giants have been able to do. They've got 4 players staying alive. Alternate aTTaX are going for another save, and the lead goes back the way of the Giants. Alternate aTTaX are wrecking their economy, Jay.
It's time to be concerned. Alternate aTTaX could be 2-0 out of this one, and it would just mount up to what has been an otherwise poor performance over the course of the series as a whole. Inferno was a disaster, to say the least, and Dust 2 started off good. It looked like it was going to carry on well into the T side, but now the Giants have established their defensive. This could be lights out for the Germans here, especially if they get this next round. If they get this next round, it's going to be an eco 14-11.
Yeah.
From there, Giants can play up to the match point and the win.
Oh, Slacks actually re-peeks in again. I wasn't sure if he was going to go for that second peek. He gets a tag onto Fox to start off, then follows up with a kill. Great opening chance now being set up here for Alternate aTTaX to go in for the A-split, but the nade could do some damage, Jay. Big damage towards that T side.
That is severely limiting towards the T-side forces, but they still get kills off of their own right. No casualties sustained by the T's just yet, and they are getting frags into their own accord. Scrunk and Steppen combining. No BJ gets 1 frag back, but he's the last man standing, overwhelmed by Mirbit towards the mid position, and Alternate aTTaX clinging on for dear life here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Jay. Well, that was a much better round coming out from Alternate aTTaX. We saw a lot of confidence. Slacks getting that opening kill, finding that man advantage. And from there, big nade placement coming out towards a short position from the CT side. They just swing out. They get some beautiful entries. And for the Giants, it looked like they could have been able to clean up those kills, but that just wasn't the case at all.
2 CTs over towards the A bomb site here on the defensive. It's going to be Fox with that kill on Slacks. The Eagles in for OBJ. Steffen gets that kill. Riz turns it back around to a 4 versus 3 situation. The short control, the Molotovs in, the flash is over, unable to find that next player back. Once again, Giants have been able to deal with the damage. An Alternate aTTaX start leaning in towards the B contact as a result. It might be a split in, but they make their way into tunnels instead.
2 players at this B bomb site, though. This is probably one of the first times I've actually seen Giants in a sort of position where they're actually playing double on B. A lot of the time it's been a 3-1-1 split. They've got the opening man advantage. They've even got Riz backstabbing. Look at this play towards top mid.
If he times this right, he can catch them all off guard. AUG sees 2 players, takes the fight and loses it. Double face in will allow them to gain a line into the A site. That was so well placed there, but just not enough from the AUG. The AWP now out in the open. Fox being seen. Gets a shot off from Cressy, but way too aggressive. Scrunk takes the trade.
Oh, that's a really important kill. And for Fox, I'm not sure if that was the right way to play it, Jay. Yeah, he gets a 1-for-1, but he really needed to stay alive there. Both players coming in really, really quickly from this short retake. Picks up an 8K PR, able to land a headshot. Now it's all down to Mirbit on the side, and he's already been dinged down. The CTs are going to make it work. They pick up their 13th. A bomb plan comes in for Alternate aTTaX to give them that extra little bit of money, but a great retake. A change of pace on the retake, too. A lot of the times when we've seen Giants in retaking situations, they've been playing it slow, setting themselves up for utility, but that time they go, you know what? Let's just charge them. Let's go quick in. They pick up that AK, they wide swing out from short, and they get some fantastic jewels onto the site itself.
That was a broken buy from Giants as well. They did not have full rifles. They did not have the full, setup for them. And they still come out good for it. Tactical pause call by the CT side to try and carry this forward because, again, they're on this reset position. They could dismantle the whole economy for Alternate aTTaX. They have an SMG in for Riz, which might be the main concern for them. But again, if they win this next round, they stand to win the whole series.
And even to think that wraparound player coming out from Riz with the AUG didn't quite work out. I mean, those odds have really shifted up now over at midnight.com. Another 25% welcome bonus when you think about, or if you're able to guess who's going to be the player with the most kills, Jay. We both said 2 Alternate aTTaX players, but I think maybe you're looking at this Giants side now.
Yeah, it could well be. given the situation alternate attacks are in right now, they have struggled consistently over the course of this series. Now they're going to try and change the pace entirely. Just go straight up mid to B. Smokes down towards the CT spawn. PR is going to put a smoke up towards the doors and Incendiary down towards tunnels that will try and stall for time. Going to play it away from his teammates' contact. Flash in, PR completely blind as is no PJ. Sees one player drop down towards the site. The spray goes awry. PR gets one frag, but overwhelmed by Stefan and Cressy. And now the CT's called in the save call. They got one player towards tunnels. Skronk may challenge him, but this is a round for alternate attacks.
Yeah, I don't even know what Riz is doing there. I think that maybe he thought they were going for it and he was already in a position where he can't fall back from lower tunnels, so he's just going to try and stay alive. But that call should have come in a little bit quicker for Giants. Great utility usage from alternate attacks in that mid to B. We saw the flashbangs coming over and it made the two players, the two anchors on B, really just awkward timing on some of these duels. They were kind of out into the open. They really struggled to sort of find a position to try and hold onto the site where they weren't just getting wide swung from so many different angles. A very, very important 13 for alternate attacks. And we've gone back and forward now, Jay, for about 6 or 7 rounds in a row. It has been quite the contention between both of these two sides.
Even standing again as alternate attacks just continue to try and pull in the rear of the Giants side. Another tactical called by the Portuguese squad. They got to decide, do they buy around these two save weapons? Do they allow their loss bonus to flourish? They're kind of in double eco status though, so they might have no choice but to force it up and get Fox to maybe drop like something for one of the other players. This is not a good sign right now for the Giants side. Yes, I am the same. I wonder.
The force buy's coming through.
I'm hoping we're not like locked out permanently. I heard something in my ear. I hope that things are okay with the production side.
I can hear
sound, but I can't see video.
I think the round just got restored, if I heard that correctly.
Yeah, something's happened.
Here we are.
We're back in. Okay, we're good.
There we are.
So something happened there. I'm not sure what it was, but either way, technical pause called in.
Stop the count.
I can't believe you made that reference of all things here in this show.
Well, I mean, it was. Don't get the round started. So.
Giants should have called in stop the count in the last round. That way they would have been able to win. He's made the same mistake as Trump did, but you know, all the same.
Well, while we got a little bit of time here, Jay, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Esports Bible who are putting a big giveaway out on Twitter. You've got a chance of winning a €100 Amazon gift card. Now, I use Amazon all the time, so an Amazon gift card for me would be fantastic, but they're giving them out to you. There's 5 of them up for grabs, so check out the Esports Bible on Twitter, check their pinned twin, and get involved. The pinned tweet, I don't know what happens with that little slogan there, but anyway, check them out. That's actually a pretty good giveaway. I like the sound of that. What do you think, Jay? What would you buy for Christmas with an Amazon gift card?
Oh, that's difficult.
You can't buy a couple of pizzas, mate.
God, Amazon, please. Can you do like a food delivery service for me? Like that.
Mate.
That is what I would spend.
You've got a big customer right here.
Oh, yeah, easy, dude. Like, so long as you hook up with some good chains and like some local restaurants, like that way I can order whatever I want. I can order some Domino's, I can get kebab, I can order chicken, you know.
I'm pretty sure they do grocery, if I've seen before on Amazon.
Yeah, but grocery is not takeaway, though. Yeah,
it's still food, though. You can make your own pizza, Jay.
Yeah, but I suck at cooking. I'd burn the house down if I did. Don't ever trust me around an oven, dude. Don't ever do that. Anyway, 13-all. You can trust me around casting, and you can trust Giants to force buy as well. AWP, M4. The Eagles in on 3 individuals of the CT side. There's a stack in towards the tunnels. They're going fast and fully committing in towards the B-side play. Fox is going to try and get that all back in position. Oh, he taps off 2 and takes out 1. That could be the difference maker, but he does go down.
Oh, but they can recover that AWP, Jay. And OBJ through the smoke, he just spammed his way through. Now it's a man advantage up for the CT side, and Cressy's incredibly low. This is going to be a tough post plant for the T side, and OBJ's found a pick on the Slacks too.
I can't believe it. That is decimation over on the CT forces. They had 3 pistols. But the AWP was the difference maker for Fox, taking 1, tagging 2, allowing the Deagle to smack through the door, get the kill. And that is a 14-13 that alternate attacks could not have afforded. They will buy back one more time, but Giants are going to edge closer and closer to win.
Oh my goodness. And they pick up, what, 2 AKs and an AWP for free. Or recover that AWP, I should say, from Fox. And they pick up the other AWP from Slack. So they get so much out of that round. Alternate attacks. I can't believe they line up for Fox there to just do that much damage. And now for Giants, Jay, that was a round. Yeah, it was a force buy. They were hoping to win it. But I don't think that they thought that was going to happen.
Double AWP set up in for OBJ and Fox. Smokes on to position. Crossing out from the mid position, going on towards the short control. Fox backing off a position here once again, in towards the CT spawn, has 2 teammates on from sight and long to support him. And that could be a good call because alternate attacks are leaning in towards the A play.
Oh, you can see Merber just trying to spam through that left side corner of the door just to see if anyone's there, but not even committing with this long contact. It looks like it's going to be a complete play up through the short position. Unless they fake it and end up going mid to B, that could potentially be on the cards here for the T's.
Here comes the smokes, here comes the hit here for the alternate attacks camp. They need this execution to go particularly well. And Fox will be the first contact, but he misses his shot, goes between the 2 players. Chris hasn't checked Goose. PR's going to come up with a frag. Scrunk trades it back. Nade's on to do damage. Riz comes up with 1. Scrunk continues to trades and gets the bomb on in. No PJ with OBJ spray through on Slack, gets a 2v2 just as the bomb goes down.
And Merbert's so far away from the site, he's going to have to start to come in from the short position, and they may have heard the footsteps from him from the mid player. 2v2, Scrunk incredibly low. They need to set up a crossfire here from the T side. And Merbert, it's all about the timing on this swing. When does he peek out towards the short position? Scrunk off angle with the AWP as well. Flash coming through. Merbert swings 2. He sees them boosting up. No BJ's now into a 1 versus 2. And Merbert's going to secure the round. A 14th now up for alternate attacks. And I tell you what, Jay, the buy is going to be pretty limited here for the Giants. They've got to make a decision. Do they want to force or half buy to get the buy together in round 30? I'd love to see a half buy here, but I think they're going for it. They're going for the force.
We're gone back and forth for 8 rounds in a row now. And alternate attacks are the one calling in the tactical this time. Would have thought it would have been Giants given the situation, but here we stand, even standing for Giants still. They just need a good momentum swing. They just need to shut down alternate attacks in their economy state. If they can get a good defense and just lock out the bomb plant, there'll be no buyback from the AKs. And that will probably be Giants taking the map and the series. It's all been down to the economy here in the late game, but the same could also be said for alternate attacks. They're up against a very broken force buy for Giants, and they've got no loss bonus, no bomb plant potential because it's on CT side. But Giants have done real good on these force buys, as you can see those stats. Will they be able to add a 3rd force buy to the list?
And the thing is, there's an instant reset potential from both teams here. A lot of utility coming out to the long house, but at the same time, look at how many T-side players are coming through. Through the smoke, it's Fox finding a couple of kills. Merbert finds a trade, but already the bomb doesn't get dropped. It's man advantage up for the CT side, and they've even got a player that's thinking about aggressing towards the upper tunnels. That could be a chance. Alternate attacks are now completely giving up on this long control.
They've got an AK out for OBJ. That should be good enough. If he could get a second one out for his teammate, that would have been fantastic. But Giants with a 2-for-1 trade to their favor. And ready for contact in towards tunnels. As you mentioned, PR was tempted to face forward. He's going to hold towards the tunnels entrance, flash his way in. There's that SMG at point blank range that could catch them off guard if they're not careful. Smoked at the ready, just shoulder baiting, looking for that first contact. We'll put it down as soon as he sees Slacks. Puts it on, and now waits towards that boost spot. Riz going to catch off Skrunk as well, so if they go for the split in, this mid play could get caught off.
Yeah, look, Skrunk's got to come up huge here. He's got two players that have aggressed on this CT side, and it all comes down to a matter of timing. When do Giants start to make the move in? Does Skrunk make any information? Does he show any presence? And Slash has got his knife out, Jay. He's got his knife out with the AWP, now they've seen the bomb.
Jump up from one player, sees two on the short control. Tag to OBJ to 5 points of health. This AK is going to escape and get teammates to come in. They know that bomb is on its way to the A site. No PJ going to see those two players crossing, and now they have to commit to it. He tries to take a fight. PR gets Slacks to fall. It does get recovered by Mirbit on this one. They make their way out towards the short position, and he gets no PJ. OBJ knows that they're so low on time. The SMG spray! PR in the midst of the smoke. Gets the frag. Skrunk takes OBJ, but he can't take the round. The Giants have done it again.
And there's no money. There's no money, Jay. They needed a bomb plant so badly on this T side. Back and forward rounds over and over and over again. Force buy coming out for the Giants rather than trying to play for overtime, Jay. And they have done it. Oh, this buy is terrible. This buy is so bad for alternate attacks. Scout out for Slacks. AK saved in from Scrug. Mac 10 up for Cressy. Stefan on a deagle. Merbit might even be on a deagle himself, or whether he wants to go for a Mac 10. Every advantage now goes the way of the Giants. We went 29 rounds in the first map. We're going 30 now into the second at Dust 2. Giants are 1 round away from 2-0ing this series, Jay. To think that the Giants were a team that most people had written off in this group stage to go 0-3 or 1-3, they've now got a chance to go 2-1 up.
And they've been on the back foot with these buys throughout the entire course of the last 10 rounds or so. Now as alternate attacks this opportunity to feel the pain. Deagle's in on 2. Mac 10 for Cressy. Scout for Slacks. The AK is Stefan. And Fox and AWP with the full set of rifles. The SMG still for Riz and a FAMAS out for OBJ. So it's not fantastic on the Giants side, but it's miles better than what attacks have. This mid control needs to buy some options. They need to try and see if they can hit either site at will. The short presence is gained here for the T's. The bomb is still in the tunnels.
One thing to keep an eye out for, Jay, is how long the CTs can hold on to their utility, because this is looking like a pretty slow default from alternate attacks. If the Giants are able to hold on to it, especially late round, that could really help them. This is looking like they're setting themselves up for a mid to B play, though, coming out for the T's.
Minute 2, the clock, smokes down. On towards the CT area, Fox will tap through, PR comes up with a kill, gets a lot of damage done towards him, blinded off by Mirbit. M4 swings forward, can't catch the player, over towards the truck area, does get Mirbit as well. Big headshots for no PJ, and the bomb plant from Cressy will come through. 4v2 for the retake though. Giants have a major man advantage, and the T's don't know how to play this one.
Oh, Slacks with the scout, just trying to get some vision out towards the upper tunnels. He finds the first Jay, but he needs to follow up. He's down to about half HP, and now Cressy's getting it. He's down to a 1 versus 1. OBJ, but no Slacks with dead. We're going to overtime. A 2v4 post plant coming out for the alternate attack side. What a hold coming out from Slacks.
I can't believe that. That was the worst force buy we've seen so far between alternate attacks and Giants. And somehow, it's enough to get them past the finish line. 15-all. A game of hero plays. And a game of bounce backs from both sides. The war of attrition continues into overtime. And for Giants, you can feel that they were right there. They were right there with the win. They are not going to be loving that one.
Well, it's a 2v4 post plant for alternate attacks with a scout and a Mac 10. Like, it's not even as if they've got an AWP and an AK. And they bring that back. Slacks was so far in the open too, towards the Xbox position, and the trade just did not come through. And one thing, too, for Slacks, right, he gets 3 kills in that post plant. He got a total of 4 kills, Jay, in 14 rounds in that second half, and then comes up absolutely huge just when it counts. Oh, maybe a good time to get involved at midnight.com as well. I mean, this series, how do you even put it, Jay? We've been so back and forward with these force buys that for OT, I don't even know which way it's going to go. Is Alternate aTTaX going to be able to win out to take us to a third map of Vertigo? A Giants still have what it takes? Oh, we've seen everything. That post plant was ridiculous.
Unbelievable. The odds for Midnight have shifted. They were favourable to Alternate aTTaX. Of course, shout out to midnight.com for making 9 to 5 possible. And if you see those odds on screen, you fancy him, you can place a bet. Of course, €25 welcome bonus and everything. Oh, but $16,000 for these two respective teams on every single player and MR3 in the overtime. Another one to add to the list here as the Giants look to try and turn around the momentum that Alternate aTTaX have gained at this stage. Much more careful defaults put out towards the mid position for Germans.
And you've got to expect that both teams might even just try go double AWPing on T side. We saw that Stefan, at least with like the 16k MR3, you can have it at least in early rounds and then maybe get rid of it if you want. And we saw Stefan picked it up to try and go for an opening challenge, but is now just opting to go for the AK. Fox on angle towards this short position. Again, he's been very solo about this play, Jay, not having anyone backing him up with utility. And rather than peeking in again, he just drops down, doesn't want to go and take the fight.
.45 seconds into the short control. Flashes will catch at least the T-side players debating some mistakes, show that, of course, they are the AWP, but that's probably just a given at this stage. They will know that they've got a bit of a short commitment, though. And Alternate aTTaX, again, going to run this clock low before they go for the execution. At 25 seconds, the utility will start to bloom. And Fox has Goose as a teammate behind him to try and play the trade game. They might try to see if they can bait them in. Riz watching long, AWP ready for the shot. Takes out one. Molotov should force both players out. M4 going to make his way out to the open, gets the spray transfer. Stefan gets those 2 kills. Bomb plant can be secured. Closed for short. Riz will take out the first. Look for Stefan on the second. And now Mirbit left alone from the long position. 1v3. Bomb's not even planted for him. He'll seal 3, take 1 frag, take 2 kills, and now PR just sticks the bomb. He knows he can hold this. He's got this round, and Mirbit can't do anything about it. He'll spray and look for the frag. He won't get it, though. The flank could have been good if the bomb was more open, but the short part was gave them all they need on the CT side.
And I tell you what, even though OBJ only got 1 kill, Jay, I think he wins that round from his team. He's the one playing Goose with Fox. He gets mollied. He has to swing out to the open. There's no way that he can continue to sit there in the flames. And he's able to find a response kill, which not only helps the defense, but it pulls the distraction away. The Alternate aTTaX just try and force in the bomb plan, and that's when the AUG can swing. Merbit doing a really good job to try and bring that round back. The auto sniper even doing a bit of damage onto PR down to 59, but Fox finds the opening kill onto Merbit. That's the response the CT side needed.
Well, Giants break the wall of attrition and get 2 in a row now. That's the main aim for the CT side.
Oh, nade.
There it comes onto Slacks. 30 HP. It's a good thing he got out of dodge there, because that could have been even worse. He probably could have gotten taken down. Opening killer's gone the way of Fox, as you mentioned there. Mirbit's already gone out of play. Alternate aTTaX playing off the disadvantage situation, putting a lot of utility in towards the mid position, and one player from the CT spawn will get flashed in, swing out, Scrunk goes down. Now it's the 3 players active towards tunnels. No, BJ sees 1, sees 2, spray transfer, only gets that 1 kill. Stefan trades it, he goes next, slaps the fall to OBJ, 17 to the board of Giants.
Another thing to think about too, we had, what, 8 or 9 rounds back and forward between both sides. We've now come into overtime and Giants have won both rounds. You'd have to say, even in that 1v3 attempt for Merbit, it was pretty convincing up until that point, and now their 17th round looked really, really good. A really nice play coming out from PR to flash his teammate out from CT. Scrunk is just completely blind. They push forward of the smoke in the upper tunnels and wait for the push to come through. 2-round lead for Giants and OT. If they can make this 3-0, Jay, they will set themselves up so nicely going into the T side.
As the AWPer Slackster takes the opening kill, Fox slowly extending out of the short control. Fragged up first, and now they just take that short position immediately, setting up the utility for what seems to be a much earlier execution from the alternate attack side. OBJ drops to Cressy, no OBJ is going to get a trade back of his own. Tags up from Riz, taken out by Stefan next. He couldn't get to hard cover in time. CTs are quick to the response though. Nope gets one frag, Meerbit trades out PR though, and the large P24 of Nope has got a lot of work to do. Dealt with in the end by Meerbit, coming up for 16 alternate attacks. No 3-0 for Giants here in this half. But they have gained an advantage going on to T.
Yeah, look, that's at least a recovery round from alternate attacks. And I think, honestly, no matter what map you're on, no matter what side you're on, when you come to OT, if you go down 0-3, it just makes things so difficult to come back because you've got to be flawless to take it to another overtime. It puts a lot of pressure on individuals to try and think like they need to make some big plays. Alternate attacks now going for double orbs on the city side. Slacks and Stefan picking it up. Another auto sniper coming out for Riz this time around to try and see if they can do any early damage. There's one player that crosses out. Nothing being done to the CT side.
Yeah, they get themselves to the default position successfully. Giants going to focus towards the outside of the long house. M4 here for Cressy, taking some damage by the T-side line. Trying to look on towards this long position. Trying to gain this map control here. Burst of Cressy gets one for Riz. Smoke back down, Molotovs into position. Cressy will extend here, try and look for a frag. No, PR trades it back to a 4-on-4. They are suppressed by the utility though.
And Merbit trying to get back towards the site. Look, good trade there coming out for PR. There might even be a bit of an AWP battle in this pit position. Slacks is waiting for the peak to come out from Fox, and that's exactly where he's playing from. But Fox, he wins out the duel against Slack. That's a big frag to find on the T side.
Massive impact game by the AWPer. And they rotate out of the long position. They've baited the 3 players to vacate the B site. If they went fast B now, then it would be Scrunk caught on the back foot, rotating back into position. The smoke set up here towards the short position. He's definitely going to sell him on the idea of a B play. Molotov's baited in to respond. Scrunk will go lower tundra, right about that. Are they going to read it? Is he going to catch them? He'll hear the footsteps calling his teammates. See OBJ and make his way into the backlines. What's he going to find? Stefan with that first AWP pick. Back in for a bit more as Fox gets dealt with. 2 standing. And lines them up. As Giants said, no idea the backstab was incoming, and alternate attacks will take us to evens again.
That's got to be one of the sickest plays I think we've seen all of Dust 2. Getting that information, the bomb's going out towards that B bomb site, and Scrunk, he doesn't overextend. The AWPs are able to find a couple of kills between Merbit and Slacks, and then for Scrunk, he's just waiting. They end up lining up. He gets a couple of kills with that AUG. What a great recovery coming out from alternate attacks, because for Giants, Jay, it looked like they had made the right read in that situation, getting the man advantage and going back over to B, but one player on the CT side brings that round back.
Flashes downrange. AWP is Stefan going to completely avoid that flash put on by his imposter position, but Fox comes up with that kill. Gets Stefan to drop. Smokes back down to the CT cross. The bomb passed over into the short control, which it looks like that's where Giants want to go here.
Slack's just being forced back. This HE could do a fair bit of damage, not as much as he was probably hoping for there. But the information has been given up that the Ts have taken this short control. And honestly, Jay, I think for Giants, don't go around with any of this faking business. Just commit together. We've seen twice now, this round and in the last, that Fox was able to find that important kill to give them the man advantage. And OBJ even finds another one towards B.
Frags on 3-on-3. Shots connecting from Slacks. Unable to get that second shot, and the third one also misses the same. No BJ with that frag. And shots back from Fox gets me a bit as well. All to Cressy in a 1-on-3 scenario. And it looks like Giants are going to get to map and match points here above the CT forces. Cressy got to do a lot of work if he wants to make this work, and I just don't think he can do it.
Yeah, there's no point saving. Go for it. And, well, unfortunately, Fox is able to deal with it. I'll tell you what, Jay, when you think about the kills that Fox has been putting up in this Dust 2, it seems like overtime is really where he started to put some big numbers up, catching a lot of players off in rotation. And for alternate attacks, it is all about survival, Jay. One more round for them will bring us to second OT, but for the Giants, they need one, and they're going home as victors.
Nades in, shot missed out from Stefan. That could have been huge right there. But he doesn't end up going down. He just gets tagged up. Giants playing in towards the mid-control again. Player out aggressive towards long, though. Cressy, if he's going to hear this bomb at least, when he swing for a hit, I mean, they're watching this angle, they're expecting him to aggress, but he's not going to tempt fate.
I'll tell you what, they can just try and spam him or maybe get a flash in. I don't know if they expect an aggressive play. We haven't seen this come out in overtime just yet. This could be the perfect moment, and Cressy's just hearing so much information. The thing is, though, he might just think they're backing off towards short, but someone's raiding. That's Riz.
If a face up, backing up here.
How long does he wait, though? That's the thing.
50 seconds to the clock. The Giants going to avoid that longhouse position. This could be pretty massive for a backstab. If alternate attacks want to get there, they may get forced to do so. They're going to wrap over towards the B site here, put some smokes on towards the A play.
Fake.
It will be a fake, you're right about that. That bomb's going to make its way quickly into the B bomb site, though, and Mirbe gets one. Trade back by PR. Stefan with the AWP on site here, gets OBJ to drop. AWP B, AWP duel from Fox. We're going to try force an issue back out. Stefan not going to be back towards the back lines. Fox gets that kill in the end. Scrunk still here towards Car. One now left in Fox as alternate attacks it to hold their own. The kill doesn't come through, and we're on for a second OT here between Giants and Attacks.
Alrighty, well, another OT, Jay. It was only going to be a matter of time until we got the overtime business going. How much further is this going to go? Both teams going pound for pound. And for the Giants, it's just about closing out. That's all it comes down to. We've seen a couple of chances now where they've been on that series point, Jay. You talk about the 15 to 14 result in round 30 where we see that 2v4 post plant coming out for alternate attacks. Again, an 18 to 17 scoreline for them, but alternate attacks just bring it back. And staying on this CT side, this is now a chance for the Germans to build up a bit of a lead.
Going into the second overtime here, it's very difficult to hold here. Imagine the pressure that's on both sides right now, going back and forth in this overtime situation. The short presence from Giants is established. One player in Mirbe to hold off against them. Will shoulder bait the incendiaries. Keeping eyes on. Smoke also at the ready. Just put it down and fall back to passive positions.
Yeah, and really no fights being taken so far. And for the Giants, I mean, they're all just grouped up towards a short position. Another HE coming through, this time doing some damage onto OBJ. But for alternate attacks, they don't really have a lot of info on what's going on, Jay. They've been able to push Cressy aggressive again in towards that longhouse position, but they haven't seen anything on this CT side.
One kill for the CTs. Nope gets a frag back, but Slacks trades him. Watching for the next player, head ducked down, so he has no info on the players crossing right now. Riz gets into a 3-on-3 situation. Bomb plant can be secured. Good shot from Slacks. Connects one, not quite two. OBJ gets us to 2v2. He's got backup on a short control, and they're both coming in from the short presence. I think Riz may have heard those footsteps, and close range pop flash around the corner. Gets Riz to drop. OBJ left alone, repositioning and grabbing that AWP instead. Ready to receive. Shot on the first player, unable to get it down. Knows that Scrunk somewhere, sees his head, a small pixel, but unable to get to the gap. Scope in, shot on Stefan. Gonna go for the jumping shot right now. Oh! He's got it! That is a clutch right there!
There's even a smoke too, Jay. What a shot coming out for OBJ. He realizes the best situation for him is to pick up the orb. He gets up one onto Stefan, smoke down, Scrunk stuck in the defuse, and OBJ jumping up connects. What a massive clutch going the way of the Giants to find their 19th.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Spray through from Nope. Gets Cressy to fall first. Incendiary is on from the rest of the CT force. He's trying to hold off for time. Burst through from Scrunk, getting Fox to drop back to a 4-on-4. So something going the way of alternate attack to stand even standing. Ooh. And now Midbit and Slacks crossfire with their own right, but no BJ. And PR return back to evens once again. Good trades held by the Giants and smokes out to cross. Scrunk going to get Stefan off to the side here, actually. This could be a good elevator boost up now. AUG seen, AK Spray gets it back, but he gets a kill on the way out, so it's a 1-on-1. Bomb getting recovered, and PR should know where that AWPer is at, so he can secure a plant to the site.
But the thing is, as soon as that boost comes out to elevator, he knows that he has to be playing around CT. And for Stefan, is he going to try what OBJ did in the last round? Jump coming up, doesn't see anything just yet. The jump comes through, and for PR, it's all about wasting time, trying to get the right angle here on top of the boxes, looking onto the AWPer, can't find it, gets the reload through. Alternate attacks looking to try and get a board up on the CT side, but both players not connecting. Stefan finally is able to do it, spots out the bomb eventually, and finds that 19th round. Another 1vX situation. This time around, though, it goes the way of the Germans.
That is huge. A great clutch again from the AWP. Get to 19 all, standing at evens between Giants and alternate attacks. A double orbs coming out as well for the T side line. Same thing can be said for the T's, in fact, and they're going to throw straight in towards that longhouse position. They're ready for a good spawn. And a good shot on the first. Fox will burn a little bit, but he'll fall back as alternate attacks will force him away.
And I love the control coming out from alternate attacks to deny Giants that early presence towards that longhouse position. So if they do want it, they'll have to try and fight it a little bit later in the round. Fast commitment up to the short position. Slacks actually might get caught in reposition because he's not quite getting the right angle towards his short face. And once he's got over, he's already missed that info that there's two players here.
Smokes down. T side into the mid position for the Giants. Looks to be a mid to B play. Yep, split in, smokes on, Molotovs out towards the CT spawn and the boost bot. It's a good kill for OBJ to start. Stefan suppressed to the side, got plenty of presence to deal with, and he just can't hold off against the numbers game. 5-on-3 now, bomb plant secured, a retake impossible for alternate attacks.
Oh, really nicely played there from OBJ, being just a lurker to cut off rotations out from mid. What an excellent round for the Giants. Some really great entries towards that B side. What I love too is you've got 4 players out from mid and the bomb solo in the upper tunnels. And once the execution comes through, they actually bring a second player over just to make sure, in case there's a situation where the player in the upper tunnels gets traded, that bomb does not get dropped. The Giants just overwhelmed. Stefan has a really difficult time with that AWP in close quarters. And Giants take the lead going into the CT side, 20-19. And I think both teams have looked stronger on CT. So the fact that Giants have already gone 2-1 up on their T side, it bodes well going now into CT.
A triple orb setup for alternate attacks to start things off here on T side. And they're going to make it work for Slack. Straight down the mid control. Fox had no idea he was there on Xbox. And PR can find the trade at least, so that's something regained for them here. Tagged up of his own accord, but Scrunk is even lower. So overall, it's a HP advantage for the Giants.
And we've seen Cressy playing this angle a fair bit now in OT. OBJ's now going for that aggressive play towards the longhouse. PR can't quite see anything over the edge of that smoke just yet. And for alternate attacks, we saw triple orbs out on the T side, Jay. Now they're rocking none of them. It's just AKs.
Very quiet. Now the utility will make a lot of noise. That nade placed perfectly. That's a lot of damage. And Riz is flash blinded here. Gonna make his way back past the ramp area. We'll let them cross, but C2. Oh, he lights up a triple. Makes it a quadra to close it down. But a CT side, that couldn't have been more perfectly placed if you tried.
And when you think about the regions in Europe, Jay, or even regions of the world, who's the most passionate when it comes to being hyped and things like that? It's Brazilians and Portuguese, Jay. You can imagine the Giants are pumping after that round right there. What a hold coming out for the ramp position. Some great flashes to come out from alternate attacks. A 4K comes through, and even a heavy B lean to start off this round from the CT side.
Some stellar individual players coming out from the Giants so far today, especially here on Dust 2.
Yeah, for sure.
It's led to their survival and their thrival, I guess you could say as well. Fox going to open up the kill counts in this one, taking out Slacks. One of the AWPers they had brought down 3 once again. Stefan picking up the other AWP in this one, going to play towards that mid control was the alternate attack side. Try and find some sort of pick back in this default.
They need something. They need absolutely something. It's 2 rounds in a row just for alternate attacks to take it to another overtime. And Fox started off so nicely, getting that kill onto Slacks. And I tell you what, the AWP duels between the two seem to have been going the way of Fox quite regularly going into OT. And alternate attacks, it looks like they're grouping up for the short commitment.
Giants set on the A site, smokes down. Molotovs at the ready for Riz. Going to see the utility. He wants to get the same execution. He's back here towards the ramp control. The molly does force him back out, but OBJ this time towards Goose is going to wait and bait. Flash against his position. Mid doesn't check it. Riz gets that kill as a result. Stefan with a trade. Still not keeping their eyes on. They're not checking the Goose spot, but it doesn't matter because the kills are coming in from the long position. 2 standing. Cressy gets that AWP on for a kill, but Fox gets his response for a 3K in this round. And Skrunk left alone towards the site in a 1-on-3 scenario with the most impossible clutch for alternate attacks. It's 22-19 for the Giants, 2-0 in this series. And that will be alternate attacks crumbling in the matchup, in a match that we should have seen them at least holding contest above the Giants. Honestly, I want to say from the Germans, overall, it was pretty poor play.
Look, Giants not even in the top 100, Jay, when it comes to HLTV. A team that weren't even able to get to the playoffs of Advanced go into this matchup today as heavy underdogs. I thought even a map victory from them here on Inferno was going to be a tough one, but they come away with a 2-0. It was close. It was down to the wire. We saw some big plays, but for the Giants, I mean, what a run this has been in Swiss stage. We saw them 2-1ing LDLC yesterday, now getting a victory over alternate attacks. Things are looking good for this Giants camp.